Tonight Show, and President Obama came.
Yes, hello. We are on the air.
George, are we live?
Holy.
Yes, we are live.
Well,
my
here we
goodness.
are. Here we are with an impromptu broadcast of Nite Meds.
I actually wrote you a song, man.
Did you just interrupt me in
No,
my
I had
lead-in?
to, because I wanted you to have the song before you lead in, man.
All right, so you play the song. How much of the song am I supposed to wait for before I start?
Just a second or two. Just
Speaking.
a second or two.
If it's a
No,
catchy,
talk. Just talk some
Just
other
talk, and you're going to
stuff,
put it
and
underneath?
then I'm going to put it underneath.
Okay, everyone, welcome to Nite Meds. I'm Frank Vignola. This is a podcast about all things supernatural and unexplained, except not today. Normally, we don't do the show on Fridays, and we have been running into some technical difficulties along the way, and some, quite honestly, content difficulties along the way, and some growing pains about, I don't know, just getting better at doing this. So we decided to do a show when we don't normally do one, just for the hell of it, just for shits and giggles, as they say. And so that's what's happening right now. Now, the reason I'm stretching out this lame lead-in is because my friend, sidekick, co-host, and technician, George the Rage Diaz, told me I was going to be getting music under this, but by the time I'm done talking,
I could
this is
hum.
going to be a Faulkner short story, and we'll need some banjo at the end of it.
All right, you know what? We'll leave it for the next show then.
All right, so let me introduce you to who I have with me tonight on this practice run. This just for the heck of it. Please still tune in, right there, boy, there was some verbal dexterity right there, wasn't there?
What does that mean?
Right there, George the Rage Diaz, that lovely individual right there. That's quickly becoming one of my new best friends, George the Rage Diaz, right there. And then also sitting in with us this evening, Stacy Honeycutt, who you'll get to know later. We'll talk more to Stacy later.
Oh, I'm freezing.
But right now, that's who we've got. Now, so today, everybody knows that normally we talk about things like, let's put it this way. Today, no aliens.
Yep.
No reptilians.
Wow.
No New World Order.
I'm so confused.
No Illuminati.
Illuminati.
No Freemasons. No Loch Ness Monster. No witches. No vampires.
Ghosts?
No ghosts.
I brought my cousin with.
Did you?
She's a vampire.
Okay, that's good to know.
Good to know.
So, no, today we are just going to, like, three grown-up people. Don't make me get out my yellow card, soccer fans. Like three grown-up people, we're just going to discuss a couple of different topics. And again, this is just to entertain you and for also us to get a little better at this and also to knock out a few glitches, a couple of gremlins on the wing that we still have that we're trying to knock them out. So,
Twilight Zone reference.
yes, that's what it was. So, as always, people watching us live, meaning my three cousins in Delaware and Rod Reyes, people watching us live. Any questions, comments, thoughts? We don't have a phone line set up yet. We're working on that. We don't have the call letters yet. We're working on that. But you can inbox us in the dialogue, and we will get the comments that way. Am I correct about that, George?
Yes, sir.
Right. So if Amy Foster wanted to write in, it sucks I couldn't be there tonight. Have a great show. Because I asked Amy to do it, but she couldn't make it. I wanted her to be the fourth person. Then she'd be able to write that in. If somebody was like, talk about the election, they'd be able to write that in. If somebody was like, I hate the color purple, write that in. Whatever you want.
Okay.
Put in the dialogue box. That's as close as a call-in that we have. In the meantime, as we check the dialogue box and see who's getting involved here, George is going to talk. Wanted to talk a little bit about terrorism, and Stacy wanted to talk a little bit about the militarization of the police. So it's just another light and airy,
Wow.
sugary, confectionery podcast full of unicorns and rainbows here on
And
Nite
a
Meds.
beast.
Nothing but unicorns and rainbows on this show. That's all. That's all we have, and the occasional reptilian alien. So, I think my mic is out, George. Oh, there it is.
No, you're fine.
Okay, I just can't hear me. Maybe you could.
I can hear you.
do something with that. So there we go. It's back and it's forth.
It's not even it's not the headphones. It's this
Okay, don't move it.
cord in the back.
It's a loose connection. It's like the rabbit ears when we were kids on the TV. And when we get them just right.
Hold your hand up.
Don't move and go get your dad a beer. That kind of thing.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
We have a listener, Max.
Max.
Hey, Max.
Thank you, Max, for tuning in. Whoever the heck you are. Got a last name on that, Max? Would that be Max Alexander?
Yes.
Oh, what a great guy. Max Alexander. Phenomenal comic. Great guy. Great guy. Thank you for tuning in, Max. Okay, and then Stacy wanted to talk about the militarization of the police force. And then I want to talk about something I think that ties into both of those, but I'll save mine till we get to the end. So since Stacy's new, I don't just want to throw her into the fire here. So, George, why don't you take the lead on this? You wanted to talk a little bit about terrorism, so I'll give you the floor, and we'll take it from there.
Well, as you know, how I feel about this whole crazy war that's going on, the jihad and all that stuff. I was watching some stuff that was going on in the news, the Paris truck running the people over. They just found out that the guy was a hardcore Muslim. And there's a lot of things that are going on in the United States right now are saying, and one of the things that I like that what they're saying, they're not saying, and Obama said it today, that anyone who believes in Sharia law will be deported. Anyone who's practicing Sharia law will be deported.
Obama didn't say that.
Yes, he did say
Newt
that.
Gingrich called for that.
I know. Obama said
No, he did not. There is absolutely no way
All right,
Obama said that anybody practicing. So Obama is saying he is personally tearing asunder freedom of religion.
No. There's still freedom of religion. Just Sharia law is the one that they're going. Listen, Sharia law is not religion.
You got it wrong. Obama never said that.
So then let's say who said
Newt
it.
Newt Gingrich said it.
All right.
You know who Newt Gingrich is?
Before we're off, I'm going to look it up.
Do you know who Newt Gingrich is?
Guys, I thought we were fact-checking.
That's what I'm going to do.
Go ahead. Do you know who Newt Gingrich is?
No.
Okay, he's run for president a couple times. He was the Speaker of the House when Clinton was president.
Shut down the government.
He was the one that, he was battling with Clinton, and then they finally came to some sort of agreement and started to, believe it or not, work together and govern more from the center. He's also run for president a bunch of times. This is a guy that, I think he runs on being a family guy, but he's been married 3 times, and all that kind of crap. This guy, honest to God, is, he might as well be Karl Rove's roommate. He's one of those kind of wackadoos.
Or Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, he's a total Kool-Aid drinker. He's, his last campaign, he ran out of money. His super PAC pulled out, and he just went from town to town like a carnival barker, doing whatever he could in church parking lots and shit just to say he was still in it. This is a wacky man who hasn't been relevant since Monica Lewinsky was relevant.
Whoa.
Well, I can't find it right now. But let's say, okay, whoever said it. You know better than me.
Well,
let's just say that.
It's huge who said it.
But it doesn't. But I think it's a good thing. If you're going to actually practice some violent stuff, then you shouldn't be here.
You're insane.
No,
You're
I'm
insane
not.
to say
No,
something
I'm
like
not.
that.
Wait
No,
a
I'm
second.
not.
I've lived in a country that was under Sharia law. I lived for 18 months in Dubai as part of an expatriate contract for Chase Bank.
Yeah.
And I have to be 100% honest that there was nothing draconian. I mean, I get it that Dubai is the most relaxed of all of the Arab states. However, as an expatriate, I didn't have to cover my face. I mean, if I had gone to Saudi Arabia, I would. But there were some qualities of the Sharia law that actually kept the peace between the militants, the shoppers, the people who came there. It's considered.
Well,
like
wait a minute.
Dubai-
Whoa.
Let me continue.
No. You hold on one second. First of all,
I lived there.
Yeah,
in a Sharia law.
Yeah, and there were
country.
areas of Nazi Germany that were also crime-free.
Exactly.
The fact that it's calm doesn't mean that I would hate for you to be a Muslim woman and have to suffer Sharia law. I would hate for you to be a Sunni and have to suffer Sharia
true.
law. For you to
That's true.
simply say, that's like saying Howard Beach is the most law-abiding place in New York because there's the least amount of crime there. No,
That's
Howard
funny.
Beach is the most law-abiding place because that's where the mafia is.
Definitely.
That's true. I can only speak for
Well,
my
I
own
want to
experience.
continue
But
with
go
this.
ahead.
Dubai, wow. Dubai, to me, is like the worst place in the world.
Wow.
Okay? It is the worst place in the world. If you look at the their practices with their corporations and their building and the slaves that they're keeping. No, it's a huge thing. Dubai is breaking every law when it comes to building buildings. They build buildings. They bring people from India. They charge them to stay there. They take their passports. They do everything that is horrible to them.
How long is the show? How long is today's show?
I don't know.
How long is today's show?
I don't know.
Because I'm not sure I have long enough to explain to you all the reasons you're wrong about everything you just said.
Okay. Yeah, all right. I'm wrong.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
First
I'm
of
wrong.
all, what you're talking about is everywhere in the Middle East. That
Hold on
lack
one
of
second.
regulation.
Hold on. What?
I think. Oh, here I'm back again.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
That's all over the Middle East. That lack of regulation as far as building goes, the mass immigration of Indian and Paki workers to actually do the physical work in the Middle East. That's all over the Middle East. That's not just
happening in
Dubai.
North Dakota.
As a matter
That's
of fact,
happening with the Bakken in North Dakota.
Dubai is amongst the offenders of Middle Eastern nations against human rights. One of the
Yep.
ones that doesn't score nearly as bad as most of the others.
That's true.
You sure about that?
I'm
lived
absolutely
there.
sure about that. If you want to make that comment about Syria or Yemen or a few other places, I might be on board. You make it about Bahrain or Dubai, I'm saying
Dubai is where
no,
you-
not
Listen,
true.
I don't care what anyone says. When you treat people like shit and they come to your country to work and you keep them as slaves, I don't like your country. You know what? I don't like slavery of any kind. Even if it's paid $1 an hour, it's still slavery.
Absolutely, George. You're absolutely right. So why don't, instead of worrying about the Middle East, you go on a quest of national corporations that are fucking taking immigrants and giving it to them the hard way for $3 an hour to pick chickens and grapes and the rest of it. And then, you know what, man? Clean up your own backyard before you worry about your neighbors.
Oh, no. I'm not even worried about Dubai because I'm not there. I'm not talking about being caring
No, you're
about what
ranting
they're
and
doing.
raving about slavery.
I'm saying to you that everyone is like what she said. Dubai is a great country. I don't think it is.
Did I
don't
say
think
Dubai is
any-
a great country?
I said of the Arab region, it's the most liberal. It's where everyone else goes to let loose.
See, this is
and
what
have freedom.
happens.
Okay.
This is
That's
what
what I
happens
said.
when you debate with a Trump supporter. They
Trump
generalize. They generalize. They take
George?
things out of context. They use specious arguments. They use false parodies. Right. Of course, it was Newt. And that's like saying that. That's
Now
like
it's time
saying
to
that.
sing
That's
the
like
song.
saying that Kennedy said something Rush Limbaugh said. Of course, it was Newt, because it was more hatred
Frank
from
knows
the
his politics.
isolationist right side. That's what it was.
Okay.
And you know what? Yes, slavery is a hideous thing, and it's still all over the planet, including in the
And it
Middle East.
sucks
But you
everywhere.
can't pick, and that's the problem with American politics to begin with. We can't pick and choose where we're going to be morally indignant.
We do it all the time, though.
Well, let me say this. I'm not talking about going to Dubai. I'm not talking about going to the Middle East. I'm not talking about anybody. I'd rather help people here, and I do. So it makes no difference to me what's going on outside. But for people to tell me, oh, this place is okay, or this place, you know what? If they're treating people like shit and they're killing them and all this, I really don't care about them.
Right.
I mean, we're doing it here too.
But that's
And-
every
Yeah, we
country in the world.
Yeah, but you know what? This is where we are, and if we want, and like you said, if
You
wanna
are getting a call from
Oh, hey, this is
someone.
forget about it.
Forget about it.
Yeah, we got to go live.
Okay,
So,
we're
I'll
going
call them.
live. So that was the thing. I mean, and this argument goes back to how Osama bin Laden got invented. This argument goes back to World War II and how we were allies with Stalin, who was every bit as not worse as Hitler. We keep making the mistake of picking and choosing who we're judging, who we're righteously indignant about, who we're helping, who we're not.
So what? We're America. So what?
Okay, and that is the kind of nonsense.
Nonsense.
We're America. So
Nonsense.
what?
We're America.
So what is that? Is that's some kind of God birthright that we're
That's
America?
right. God damn, I'm American.
American.
You know what? There's nothing wrong.
It's my God-given right.
There's nothing worse than a patriotic Puerto Rican.
I like it.
Nothing worse. But
You know-
anyway, to get back to what you were saying.
Okay, so
Go
then
ahead.
you want to talk? Let's talk a lot.
But why,
Yeah.
why are you singling out Sharia law as opposed to like ISIS or?
Oh no, I hate ISIS too. I mean, I definitely hate ISIS for all the crimes they committed. But what am I going to tell you? Am I over there shooting them? No, but my family is part of my family's over there putting bullets in them. So I'm
Right,
okay
but
with
George,
that.
what you did was, and I love you like a brother, but what you did was you made the common mistake that a lot of people who have knee-jerk reactions from waving the flag because something that pushes their buttons make. You read something on the internet that
No, I
was-
didn't read anything.
Well,
I just heard it
okay.
on the phone.
You heard it on the
I
phone.
know on the
Dude, wherever you got the
radio,
information, you got the information. It pushed a button in. You didn't fact check. You even had the wrong guy. Then you're spreading misinformation.
Oh, school.
well, you know what? It's okay. I'm American.
No, you're a Trump supporter, and it's
That's
okay
right.
for you
No,
guys.
he's-
Fuck
Are
it.
you?
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
Really?
he is.
No, he's shaking his head. No.
Yeah, he is.
I am for the show, of course.
Oh, maybe he's
Oh,
changing in real
okay.
life.
No. I'm not voting for Hillary either.
Right. But the reason that you can't specifically outlaw Sharia law or anything else is A, because now it's a slippery slope. It's a Pandora's box of all the different things that you're going to find morally outrageous that you choose to
Right.
outlaw. And then also it's in violation of the direct violation of the Constitution. And, and then also, got bad news for everybody. You can't police thought.
Oh, that's for sure.
Right? And really, it's just thought. Until people start to act on it, it's just thought.
Oh boy.
Well,
You
I
know?
see a lot of people acting on a lot of bullshit too. So.
Well, that's true, but we're talking specifically about the practice of Sharia law.
All right, well, let's go to Brooklyn, my friend.
All right.
Let's go where all the Muslims are over in Brooklyn. Let me and you go see what the fuck they're doing.
Well, I think that if
There's mosques right here.
you know what,
East Village,
I don't know.
96th Street.
That's true. There are Muslims in Manhattan. I would say,
Well, I think the Manhattan Muslims are a lot more educated. So.
George, I would say this. You know what, George? Honestly, I would say this. I am, as your average end of the baby boomer white guy, I would say that I do not have the knowledge of what it's like to be part of a disenfranchised community.
Yeah.
But I would say that the Muslim community in Brooklyn, and I'm just guessing here, is just like the African American community in Compton, where most of the people are not in gangs, most of the people are not lawbreakers, most of the people have to live there because of their finances and are trying to do the right thing, and it's a small percentage that keeps it a war zone, or
Definitely.
or that promotes a certain anger, or that ties things up and won't let the community deal with the authorities or whatever. And I would say that would be the same sort of thing with radical Muslims. I'm sure there's a small percentage of them, but I'm sure the vast
Oh, no,
minority
I totally
are
agree
people
with you.
that are afraid to speak out because of what's happening in the world right now, but they are not radicalized Muslims. They may be Muslims, but I don't think they're radicalized.
But there's also radicalized Jews and Christians, and
Yeah, that's
the
for sure.
bombing of the abortion clinics by the born-agains, and then remember Meyer Kahane?
Right, but all that I think is
mean,
kind of a false
Every
parody.
religion has its
Yeah,
dangerous fringe.
It's true, but basically what the Muslims are going through right now, for lack of a better phrase, and I'm overgeneralizing, so if there's somebody Muslim listening, don't jump all over me. What the Christians went through with the Crusades,
Yeah.
and so I mean that's all very true, but I think there is a big difference between constant acts of terrorism, whether they be large acts like 9/11 or lone wolf acts, versus some nut job like the Oklahoma bombing, Terry McVeigh. I think there's a difference between isolated incidents of domestic terrorism that are really about rage with the government hiding in Christian clothing versus the frequency and intensity of terrorism right now that comes not from Muslims. Let me be very clear about that. Not from Muslims, but from Muslim extremists, which are two different things.
Oh,
These guys are no different than the God hates fags Christians,
Of course.
that
Yeah.
picket Arlington National Cemetery.
Wow.
Okay, so I don't consider those guys Christian, and to be honest with you, I don't consider this Orlando shooter Muslim.
No,
or,
I don't either.
Or whomever else. And I don't
point.
consider Sirhan to have been Muslim. That to me, that is not Muslim.
Let's not go there. That was MK Ultra. That's another show.
Well, but hold up.
Uh-oh, now we're getting back
Hold
into
up.
Nite Meds.
Hold
I'm
up.
serious.
Hold up.
Right.
All right. No, I totally understand that because we have a certain percentage of Puerto Ricans, and blacks, and whites who are totally assholes.
Right.
And I do know that.
Right.
But, you can't. But you know something? We do something about this. That's the thing that's the difference. And they're not doing
What do
anything
we
about
do?
it here. Oh, what?
What do we do?
No,
All right,
but-
let's find out if you're in our neighborhood and you start talking shit or you rape a child or you do something stupid.
Oh, you take
what's
care of
gonna
it.
happen?
You take care of,
Of
it
course.
amongst your own
Yeah,
community.
but I mean, we do it.
Right, but
we're not going to
George-
stand there and wait for you to kill us. Besides, they killed a bunch of Puerto Ricans. I'm pissed off at that.
But George, what I'm saying is, if you had taken any one of those moments, during when other religions were involved, extremists of other religions were involved in these sort of travesties, in that individual moment, in that individual second, it looks like it's never ending or what's going to happen next. It was a finite process. The Crusades eventually ended. And I don't think that Muslim terrorism, and maybe I'm being optimistic here, I don't think it is going to last forever. I think maybe violence between Muslims, which is tribal and clannish and has been there for 5,000 years, might continue. But I think actually, if we got into green energy and off of oil and out of the Middle East, you'd see a lot more of this being in the neighborhood than all over the yard.
You know what? I agree with you on that. I totally agree with you. And if we want to get serious, there's a lot of stuff that could change all this.
Right.
Like the education of these children that are running around that don't have anything.
Right.
Giving them things. Instead of going over there and killing everybody. Like propaganda. But if you're going to do propaganda, give them books.
Right.
Give them a different lifestyle. You really want to screw up the whole system? Let women have the reading and the writing and all of that.
Exactly.
And you'll see everything just change.
Half the population.
Yeah, of course.
Did I just hear George offer a peace through misogyny campaign?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Let the women take over.
Was that just...
I like women. They can take over everything.
Okay.
All right.
Keep that in mind.
But I mean, I guess why I jumped when you said that is I just when people keep talking about all Muslims kind of being painted with the same brush.
But I never said all Muslims.
He didn't. He said Shiara.
Shiara law, number
Yeah.
one.
At first.
I said the people, and I said radical Muslim terrorists. I never said Muslims. Let me say
But
this.
as you
I have a
continue to
lot
talk,
of Muslim
George,
friends.
But
George?
Go ahead.
Shiara law is not radical,
And George, as you continued to talk,
as I've experienced.
just so you know, it started out with you qualifying it, but as you started to talk and got energetic about it, it just became Muslims.
No, I
that
did
was
not
the
say
only
Muslim.
Listen to the tape.
I will then later.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will then and I will then later.
So, and this, I think, happens a lot of times when people start out kind of qualifying it, and then just out of brevity or wanting to make their point, they just start to refer to
He's
a group,
passionate about it.
and that's when the generalities begin.
Say hello to Amy and Matthew.
Amy Foster, Amy?
Amy
Oh, my good friend
Amy
Ambrosino,
Ambrosino.
who I'm going to want to have on the
I
show.
haven't seen her in years.
I want to have Amy on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't...
Amy Ambrosino was a manager at
Yes,
one point,
yes,
right?
and now she's...
Oh, wow. Amy, how are you?
And now she's an off-Broadway producer.
Beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
Beautiful. I know her since I was a kid.
Right, but I don't think.
know her a long
I don't
time
think.
ago.
Let me ask you this. Let's take it out of something else. Let's take it into. Can you make being a born again Christian illegal?
I would like to. I definitely would like
no,
to.
it depends on the kind of born again Christian.
Oh, my God.
There's the saintly ones, and then there's one. You know what's wrong with your life that the Lord Jesus Christ
No,
revealed in my quiet
you know
time
what?
meditation
I
and
think
prayer.
they're all funny because I was at a soccer game, and I was watching a soccer game, and we're Mexico. No, somebody against America, and I loved it. Colombia against somebody, right?
Okay.
And we had a bunch of cholos. This was in California. I'm sitting in front and behind a bunch of tattoo stomach word cholos all over the place. And then this Jewish guy, all right, came over, and he had a shirt that says Jews for Jesus.
Oh,
Right.
boy.
And he started, and everyone just looked at him, but no one bothered him. You know why? Because it's just like, you know what?
It was almost comical.
Yeah, no, he was radical.
Right.
But we were all like, he's for Jesus. What do you want us to do? It's like, what? This is crazy. But every time that, like, a goal went in, he goes, Jesus made that happen. And we're like,
boy.
okay.
Right.
But, and all the cholos, all the bangers, would look, it just like, damn.
Right.
We had to be peaceful today, So, yeah, I would get rid of some of those guys.
Right, but the fact of the matter is, you can't make a certain philosophy or train of thought within a given religion illegal. You can't do it.
It takes us back to Frank's point about thought police.
You can't do it.
Well, you know what? When this country was founded,
Right.
okay, they they tread. Is that the right word?
Don't tread
they,
on me.
they treaded on the Native Americans' religion
Oh,
of taking
genocide.
care of course. But
Systematic.
what are you talking about? It's been done.
Right.
So why can't we do it again?
Well, because
Why do I have to miss out on all this fun?
So you're advocating committing genocide again.
Wow.
Uh,
smokes.
just a little bit.
Oh my God. See.
What?
See.
Is she dead?
Okay,
Little
God,
bit.
for anybody who's never listened to our show before, what you need to do when George makes a point is you take the whole thing, you remove 90% of it, you take the other 10%, you distill that down, and then in there somewhere you're going to find what he was saying.
Yeah.
That-
but I'm just playing.
that's the way
you
that
know
it
how it
Yeah,
basically
is.
he
works.
did wink at me.
Yeah. You
Well,
know
the whole thing. And it's interesting that you bring that up, and we're going to move on to Stacey in a second here, but it's interesting that you bring that up because when you look at our nation, okay, first of all, you know, the everything with the genocide with the Native American people, at the same time, they went to great pains to separate church and state in the
Yes.
literature. At the same time, the northern members of the Continental Congress, John Adams and all those guys, wanted to abolish slavery at that point. But the
Yeah.
South
Yes.
wouldn't do it
Of course.
and wouldn't sign on to the 1775 document if they did that. And that's how you got an African American, well, I guess they called it a black person then, was
Right.
3/5 of a person in value, that
Right.
kind of thing. So we have been fighting this battle since the day we decided to be
Yeah.
us.
And that's what established the Mason-Dixon line.
Right. Since the day we decided to be us, we have been fighting this battle. Right,
Yes.
and racism is this nation's greatest sin. Period. And
Definitely.
I hate to tell you this, my brother, but part of the way that we think and talk about Muslims, not radicalized Muslims, but Muslims,
Yeah.
is still racist
Yep.
and still an expression of that greatest original sin that we can't seem to shake.
Racism.
What's that?
Yes, racism.
I got you. I mean, whatever.
What?
And on George's whatever, how do you say whatever in Spanish, George?
Okay, say
it
yeah,
there.
whatever.
Yeah, there you go. Lo que sea, is that what it?
Whatever it is, you know.
Lo que sea.
That's
Yeah,
it.
there we go.
Lo
So,
que sea.
I'm just gonna remember that.
I want to
one.
get rid of Mexicans too.
Okay, so this is
Oh.
this is. You know, I've always wondered, and I don't want to get into this too
Go ahead.
much, but when people of a quote unquote Latin descent, for lack of a
Yes.
better phrase, when you make a joke like, you know, as a Puerto Rican person saying you want to get rid of Mexicans too, would that be akin to like the Cherokees saying they want to get rid of the Sioux, or is
Probably.
it that kind of
Probably.
thing? I mean, they're both sort of
No, but
similar
I-
cultures.
can I-
and-
Where's that going, though?
I was just
That makes it
joking. Let me just
okay?
say this about the whole.
Well, there
thing.
were huge
Let's bring
Indian
it to
wars.
the. Let's bring. Oh
Yeah.
wow! And you know what? I'm part Arawak.
So am I. I'm
there's
Choctaw.
I
I'm
can't
one-
answer that.
16th.
I always feel anybody who's.
Explains my
let's
alcoholism.
just stop. Let's just stop right there. Well, what I want to say is this. You know, we're all pretty much screwed.
You know what? George has never forgiven me because my great grandfather owned his great grandfather.
Oh, my God.
No, my great grandfather would have killed your great
Probably, he
grandfather.
probably did. He probably killed him as soon as he got off that damn
But-
boat.
but
My
you see,
great-grandfather slept with your great-grandmother.
There you go.
Or raped her, one or the other.
Oh.
No, they...
That's how I feel about it. You know,
Yeah.
honestly, look, you know what? America is
A melting
fucked
pot.
up, but it's still a melting pot. But let's talk about who started all this shit: the Portuguese, look at Brazil,
The
the
Dutch were the
Spaniards,
ones
the
that
Dutch,
started the
the
slavery,
Spaniards, all
yeah,
that
the
shit.
Spaniards.
You know what? But everyone's like, oh, the white man, the white man, the white man. Well, let's look at the Spaniards. I fucking hate them too.
Right. I
Are we
think.
allowed to drop F-bombs?
No, I
yeah.
am.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess we are. But I think the reason that I
Sorry.
mean, I think the reason that a lot of that is going on is because it's just the people think that way is because colonialism, as we know it, which is mostly European, and then colonies of Europeans that did it themselves,
Of course.
is a little bit more in recent history than the Egyptians enslaving the Jews. You know,
Yeah.
and it's something that we even have family ties to. Not me, my family came from Italy and they
Yeah.
whatever, but
We were too poor to have slaves.
right. But it's like, do you know what I mean? I mean, this is all within the past 500 years.
Yeah.
Everybody's point of reference with the European heyday of slavery.
But haven't we gone full circle right back to George's point of even though it's illegal, it's still going on in Dubai
Of course it is.
with the workers being locked into the. I mean, but it's also happening in America. My friend owns a hotel in Massachusetts. He locks his Mexican laborers into the basement at night.
So let's beat him up. Let's beat your friend up. I'll go to where? Boston? I'll go there and I'll beat the shit out of him. That's how I feel.
Well, I'll say this. I'll say if you want to deal with the illegal
He's an
immigration
offense.
problem, quote unquote, the way to deal with it is to deal with the people that exploit the workforce, not to try and send the workers
I
home.
s-
Oh, no, I understand that, of
But-
course. But you know something? I've always said this, and I continue, and let's look at my views for real.
Okay.
The only way to end all this bullshit, okay, I feel that is union. I feel that if these people or everybody, whoever's working illegal and all that, stop working and like just call like upon a union,
Right.
you know, and let the union start a battle for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think we could go international with a union. I think we could help people with a union. And they could fight. They have the lawyers. They have all the access, all the resources. Why can't they help them?
Well, that doesn't
Because
sound.
the undocumented aliens do jobs that union people won't touch.
Well, if
that's-
they unionize
that's
them and
lies.
pay $22.50
That's
an
what I'm
hour.
trying to say. If you unionize
Yeah.
them, then you have to pay them.
Then
Like-
the INS sweeps in and deports them.
The INS will
No, I'm
never
not
sweep
talking
in
about-
and deport 13 million
But
people.
hold on. I'm not
It's
talking about
impossible.
just here. I'm talking unionize everybody around the world.
Like
I'm talking
undocumented workers,
if they
local?
listen, local, outside, whatever. If there's a union that could actually do something, they should. They should go and tell them, look, you can make more money. You can do this.
Don't-
You can fight the system. Blah blah blah. Yeah, there'll be a little bit of bloodshed. Yes, there'll be a lot of problems.
We're kinda
But then
doing
at that
that.
point,
We have amnesty. We have like twice yearly amnesty calls for illegal aliens. You know, you can come
I'm
in
not
and
talking
get
about people coming here. You see, you're talking
That's
about
people who are here already here
Yeah,
and
okay, but
working.
that's fine. But we need to do something about people in their
backtrack.
own country. You know, we really do. Like, look,
So what George is advocating is that if Mexico had stronger unions, they'd have a better economy, which would mean it would be less attractive for their workers to come here.
no, they would just get paid better.
Right.
And, you know, if they want to come, they could come.
Can I ask you
know?
something, though,
but I'm
George?
just saying, I hope that they make a lot more money.
George, can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
If we can't even legislate ourselves, how the hell are we going to legislate another country?
No, we don't want to legislate them.
point.
We
Right,
just
but-
want to educate them to the unions, man. Make them fight for more money. Make them fight for 15. You know what I'm saying?
You can't fight, you can't force an idea on people. We tried that in Iraq with democracy. How well did that work out?
Man, well, Mexico's
Plus-
been doing that with their workforce, but they've been getting killed
The
lately.
unions have driven a lot of labor overseas because someone who's a small business owner in America can't afford to pay union wages or they go under.
All
You know
right.
something? Unions are for big corporations.
All right, let's check this out because we're talking over each other. We got to get better at that. And then also, I want to toss things to Stacy. Let's say hello to anybody on.
Yeah, there's people on.
No, but I mean anybody say anything or ask any questions or say hello or anybody we need to give a shout out to.
Malaya? I can't see it right.
Mutia Vision. Yeah. Hey, Mutia, how you doing? She's a great storyteller.
Sorry, Motia.
And a
I
comic, but
just
a
didn't
great
I can't see
storyteller.
that far.
All right. So in so many ways, George, you can't.
Shut your face.
All right. So now, which actually kind of ties into it. Let's toss this to Stacy because Stacy wanted to talk a little bit about the militarization of the police force.
Well, yeah, because it's terrifying, especially as a single woman in Manhattan, in New York City. I find that if a cop is on the street, I do not make eye contact. I cross the street. It's an avoidance mechanism, and I'm white, and I look like Waspy Waspington Jr., you know, but I have that kind of fear. And
But that's ridiculous.
I have to tell you that yesterday I took a delivery in my building. I had ordered a wardrobe from Home Depot, and the delivery truck came up. The truck door was up. The loading thing was down. There was someone from the company in uniform outside the truck with a hand truck and a clipboard, and a Hispanic police officer walked over to us and started harassing us. And this-
Traffic agent?
no, just a ticket writing guy.
That's
And
a traffic agent.
literally, the African American guy and the Hispanic guy that were the driver and the porter said, "Everybody, pay attention, pay attention. We don't want to be shot."
So two
And
questions.
I had a moment
Even
of like,
more
"Holy
stupid.
crap! It's not that stupid. It's not that crazy."
So I have two quick questions.
Just to
One
crack me
is, obviously, it seems you are not of the body of thought that most cops are good cops and it's just a handful that are bad.
You know what?
I'm a convicted criminal. I do not like
Yeah,
the
what
police.
did you do? What kind of crime? Come on, tell me.
I was incarcerated for being part of 13 kilos of cocaine and heroin 30 years ago, stolen from the federal DEA vault.
Well, then I'm happy.
In Manhattan.
Then I'm happy they caught you.
And 30
I was just the girlfriend in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Thank you, George.
But anyone that's spreading cocaine and heroin should be caught.
Okay,
I was
well,
just sitting in the room.
I have two questions. One is,
And why does that have anything to do with it?
one was I wanted to establish that you weren't of the frame of mind that most cops are good cops, or just a handful of bad ones.
But here's the crazy thing: when I meet them individually, they're kind, compassionate, friendly people. I volunteered at a soup kitchen, and I had one of the soup kitchen regulars help me when I moved. And then he didn't want to leave, and he wanted to move in, and he started sneaking in the building. It's one of those buildings that doesn't have a doorman,
I
but you
hear
can
you.
get in on the two-door system, banging on my door at 3 a.m. And finally, I called the cops. And it was a whole thing because, like, 3 a.m, you don't want a homeless guy beating your door down.
Totally get that. But
They
again,
followed up,
trying
and they
to
were
establish.
they were so like considerate and general, but in general, I
it's like
fear
herding.
them.
It's like herding cats.
In general, I fear them.
It's like
But
herding
one
cats.
on one, I like them.
Let's try one more time. So, generally speaking, as an authoritative body,
Yes.
you are not of the ilk that believes that most of them are good and it's just a handful of bad apples.
I am not going to be
So that's
donating
question
to
one.
PAL.
Hello, Doug.
That's hey, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, Doug Adler. What's up? We're not Doug Adler, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know Doug forever. He's a good guy. We're going to have you on, Doug. We're going to have you on. So that's question one. Question two is, why was it important at the beginning of the story that you included that the officer was Hispanic?
I don't know.
It wasn't your
I
story.
know, but I don't.
I'm asking her.
Because I'm so used to seeing white officers, choke Eric Gardner and murder him. I'm
Oh,
seeing
wow.
white officers shoot guys in the back, unarmed. I'm seeing, and
I really
the
don't
police transcend. They transcend race.
Okay.
They would rather be blue than brown, white, black, or
George.
African American.
I want to say something.
It's
You know what?
transcendent.
I want to say
The
something.
It's all you.
All right, I want to say
Go
something.
ahead.
Go ahead, baby.
Okay, a lot of people, look at videos and they're like, "Oh, this is what's happening." All right, so you get a video of a cop choking him out, right? In the first place, why didn't he just conform? That's
Oh
it.
my God, George, are you
Why not?
serious?
No, I'm very serious about a lot of
He was
shit.
begging them that he couldn't breathe.
You know what?
It's
A lot of criminals scream that they can't breathe. No, I'm talking truth. A lot of
You know
people
what?
scream that they can't breathe.
Well, I mean, okay.
I'm not being a dick. Look, I'm just trying to say this.
I've personally been subjected to police
I-
bullying.
Okay, but you know what? I'm just trying to say this. Okay,
Well, first of all, where'd this hum
Please.
come from?
that's the stupid machine over there.
We got it's the government trying to blot us out, man. The government doesn't want the truth to get out there. Let me just say one quick thought.
We're bringing back
One
Anfield.
quick thought. I mean, kind of in both your defense. I think that there are times that people who are being arrested also will maintain they're being hurt or say certain things
Yeah,
or do
that's
certain
true.
things when they're actually not. It's
Exactly.
part.
Okay.
It's part of their gig. At the other times,
Yeah.
I think
This
that
is
there are
what-
people that are genuinely saying, "You're choking me out, dude," and the cops are ignoring it.
How did this?
I think it
how
goes
did this
both
get
ways.
hijacked to that issue? What
But
I'm
you know
talking
what?
about is my own personal experience.
No,
I
you
can't
s-
speak
you
to
said
Eric
Eric
Gardner.
Gardner.
He asked me
I didn't-
why
I
I
didn't
made
ask.
a point of mentioning the Hispanic cop.
I didn't ask.
that the cop was not white.
No, I asked that.
No,
He
but
did
I
ask
heard,
me and
I
I
heard
answered
Eric
him.
Gardner, and you know
I
what?
said
I do
because
feel,
I'm
I
used
feel
to
bad for Eric
seeing
Gardner's
white cops
family. I
choke
do.
out
Don't
Eric
make me
Gardner.
yellow card you guys. I will yellow card you
Well, I'm
guys.
trying to answer Frank's question and I'm being hijacked.
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
Dude, this
no, we
is crack
understand.
Barbie.
Sorry
no,
about
no,
that.
no.
But okay, so we got the reason that she mentioned that he was
Okay.
Hispanic was because her own personal frame of reference was having dealt with abusive cops in the past.
And thinking it was white cops.
And thinking it was a
But
white cop
it's
because
blue.
most of them were.
All cops are blue.
And it turns out,
all cops are
in
blue.
her experience after this, she realized all cops were blue.
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
well,
That's
a
what it came
soundbite.
down to.
That is a soundbite.
Well, we know that all the time. I mean,
No, I did not know
in
that.
my neighborhood, we do. Because
Well-
in my neighborhood, we get harassed by blacks, by Spanish, by whites, by women,
Right.
And I-
So we knew this for the longest time. We've known this for the longest
But
time.
but the white suburban middle class tail end of the baby boomer female over here didn't, and it was a frightening realization for me. Okay, last year, Obama, the Pope, coming across Central Park. I lived on 67th Street between 3rd and 2nd. I couldn't cross the street to go into my own home because the police had closed the street down. I said, but I live there. I'm just trying to go home. Please let me go home. No, miss, you got to walk down 4 blocks, come up, make a left, turn around, jump down, pick a bale of cotton.
And what's wrong with that? What's wrong to take a few minutes out of your time just to do that so that way you don't have to deal with bullshit? You see, that's the other thing. No one wants to compromise. Everybody wants to real quick, but they don't want to back up
Well-
and compromise somehow.
Women
You
have
need to
certain plumbing
compromise.
issues men don't have.
Can I say two things, just
Go
sort
ahead.
of, just in my own experience? Just two things. One is, I don't really have a problem with the cops because Obama's in town or Letterman's getting his picture taken or the Pope is there for Taco Wednesdays saying that you need to walk 4 blocks
I
out of your
didn't
way.
get to finish my
Right.
statement.
Right.
Sorry.
After I said that, she said one more word out of you, and I'm taking you in.
And that's the
That's
problem.
what it was. I go, wow, how did we go from 0 to 60? Because I got to go home and pee.
Right. And
How,
I think the problem with police officers is that, not with police officers in general, but with the system and the way it's set up is, it is the cop himself in real time who gets to decide with deadly force, if
With
not the
deadly
power of
force.
or of arrest,
Right or
what
wrong.
is resistance or not.
right or wrong.
And if I roll my eyes at you,
Yeah.
that might be resistance if you're the right cop and
I'm
in the
telling
wrong
you.
mood.
I want to say this. I've been stopped by cops, okay?
Right.
And I'm not going to protect the cop, or I'm not. I have family that are members, okay? I have my family that are on the job, so I know my family members. I hate one of them all the way because he's a
Doesn't
total.
ever you have family
No, but
one
he's
of
a
those?
total asshole.
Every
But
family has
he's a
one.
state trooper. It's
Right.
understandable.
Right.
I bet he's hot.
Yeah, he is.
They all are. They just are.
Yeah, he's blue-eyed, dark-skinned, and
Oh.
There you
beautiful.
go. There you go.
But
Okay.
but you know he doesn't.
He's a hot asshole.
He hates drunk drivers. He hates, that type of shit.
Right.
Right.
So if he catches you doing that, oh, you're in deep shit.
Right.
Okay, but besides that, I've been stopped. I've been stopped by cops. I mean, during situations that, look, we were 5 in the car. We had 10 grand, a lot of fucking other shit in the car, a lot of stuff in the steering wheel. This is many years ago.
Right.
Many years ago. A lot of
Gotcha.
stuff in the steering wheel.
Okay.
You know what? They treated us with fucking
Hey,
respect.
let me say back to you, if you had all that stuff, then you deserve to be stopped.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. I don't come from that. Oh my poor me, I'm getting stopped by the cops. Oh, don't arrest me. No, fuck that. We're
Well-
criminals. If you're a criminal, do your job.
What if you're not a criminal and you're stopped at rolling through a light that a guy's in a speed trap and he tells
no, I'm
you
not talking
he
about
tells you if
something
you
like
show
that.
him your tits, he'll let you off.
Well,
Somebody
that's-
told you that?
Yes.
Wow.
In Franklin Lakes, New Jersey.
Wow, that's Jersey though.
And can I
Oh,
again?
is
That's
it
fucked
okay?
up.
That's
No, you should have
understand.
videotaped that.
And,
fact.
and again,
really?
I just want to add
I want my teeth knocked out.
one more thought about something that was said a few minutes ago, but it kind of still applies. With profiling and all that, and a lot of people really, I think are harassed by profiling. But by the same token, if the cops pulled me off the street out of nowhere and said, we want to talk to you because there's a description of a bank robber that looks just like me, and I'm walking down the street and they grab me and they want to talk to me, I ain't done nothing wrong, so I got no problem with it.
Exactly. Neither do I. Neither do
Sorry, I got
Neither
no
do I.
problem with it.
But wait, whoa.
I got no
What
problem
about the
with it.
black tennis star that was in front of the Grand Hyatt Hotel and he got tackled without even being approached or spoken to because he resembled a suspect that the officer thought
That was a
he
cop that didn't
was.
know how to do his job.
Exactly.
Some other cop should have gone up and given him his
Nope,
badge and said,
he
"Excuse
wasn't
me, we would
even
like to
given
talk
him
to you."
we'd like to talk to
But you
you.
can't.
I gotta bet.
He
But
was tackled.
But that's
That
not
was-
the only experience that's out there.
Listen.
You can't have as much as I don't trust the cops, you can't have one bad cop
Exactly.
paint the entire group.
It's just one that's on the top of my head. I mean, I could come up with like 5 or 6 others if you gave me 5 minutes and a pencil.
I can come up with a lot of them too. I got one more for you that'll make you laugh, Frank.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Stacy, sorry, you're going to laugh at this one. Me and my boy were in the car, right? And the narcotic squad stops on the side of us, opens the door, and goes, "What the fuck are you guys doing standing there?" Now my boy turns around. My boy, smart as he is, he turns around and goes, "We're just talking, officer." He acted like he was gay. The cop went right back into the van and took off, told us to go, and we went around the corner. We're like, "Holy shit, that was close."
No, that is.
You know, so, you know.
Am I stupid? I don't understand where that worked.
Oh, because they don't want to touch us. You know, gay people. So at that moment, we're gay.
In that instance, that it worked out for them that cop happened to be very homophobic.
Of course. But, you know, you got to read people and you got to do things.
Also could have gotten him beaten up.
Exactly.
Also could have gotten him raped.
That was a dangerous.
Could have gotten him a lot of things.
But you know what? And
You know?
the way he pulled it, I
mean,
couldn't stop laughing.
It's interesting that the cop that did to Abner Louima chose to do what he did
that was
to Abner
horrible.
Louima.
That was horrible.
Right? I mean, that's a very specific
That's
kind of
disgusting.
abuse.
That was
Yeah.
fucked
You
up.
know,
Yeah.
that's a very specific thing.
Yeah.
How we
That will
I
live
think
in infamy for all
We have
time.
plenty of time.
we have like
another
15
person.
left. Who else is saying hello? Who's saying hello?
Dan
Dan.
Horowitz?
I don't know if I know Dan.
Dan Horowitz.
Dan Horowitz.
Howlett.
Oh, Dan Howlett. Dan Howlett, very funny comic from England.
Nice. Hey, Dan.
Recently got passed here. Is now doing spots on the 11 o'clock shows here.
Cool.
He's a great guy. I wish we'd have him in too. He could give the whole UK perspective
Why
on
not?
all of this. Okay, so all this segues briefly into what I wanted to talk about a little bit, which I don't really have that much to say about. I'm more interested to see what you guys have to say about it. So I am as everybody who probably knows me, even a little bit knows, I'm a big fan of documentaries. And I'm watching the Ken Burns documentary about New York.
I've not seen it.
And they keep referencing over and over again the different New Yorks,
Okay.
right?
I agree.
So obviously before the Civil War, New York was a very provincial town. In a lot of ways, it was still British. So there were the people that had money, and obviously they didn't. What really happened after the Civil War with the boom of the Industrial Age and New York actually profiteered off of the end of the Civil War like humongously.
Yep.
That's when we start to get those captains of industry and then people living in tenements. So it's kind of the have and the have-nots. With immigrants coming in, would they be? So I'm interested in what people, when they say different New Yorks, like, what is the differentiation? Is the differentiation financial? Is the differentiation political? And is it always simply boiled down to have and have-nots, or are there actually a whole handful of different New Yorks?
For me,
Yeah.
and for my neighborhood,
Right.
it's money.
Okay.
If I tell you where I live, it's even more expensive than Manhattan. Half the
Okay.
place.
Right.
It's Greenpoint.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Greenpoint rent is ridiculous.
Right.
There's been a lot of people buying buildings.
Right.
Okay. They
Yeah.
try to get the
And
tenants
they're
out.
artificially inflating the prices.
Exactly. But remember the Jewish brothers, the Hasidic brothers that
Yes.
just got busted?
Yes.
They own 3 of the buildings in our neighborhood. No, they don't own 3. They own 7 of them.
Right.
Now, it is financial for us. They want to get everybody that was originally from
Right.
that neighborhood out so they could actually bring people from everywhere else to pay $2,500 for one studio. There's a place where Magic Johnson owns a building there.
Yeah.
Okay, the less rented Magic Johnson's building is $2,400.
So you think it's basically haves and have-nots?
Of course, and like I can't even live.
And
in my
everyone profiteering.
Well, profiteering, profit. It's really about
Yeah.
profit.
You get
But it's about
middle-aged
one
suburban
person.
couples
Yeah.
investing and driving up the prices. I looked to buy an apartment,
Right.
and every single realtor I spoke to said, "Oh, you're actually going to live in it?" Like they
Right.
couldn't believe that I was not investing. It wasn't an income property.
What
I
about
was actually going to live there.
what about politically? Are there different New Yorks politically?
In my neighborhood, is that way too.
All
Honestly,
over.
but it's
Well, you say all over, but when you think about it,
Yes,
where
definitely.
when you think about it politically speaking, as an entity, New York is pretty much on the liberal side, pretty much
Yeah.
on the progressive side. Even when they have a Republican mayor, he's
Yes.
basically a Democrat.
But there's
Definitely.
still, if my best friend Preacher, who Amy Ambrosino knows Preacher very well.
Right.
We've been friends a long time. Preacher wants to live in Chelsea or around Prince Street in those areas or enclaves because it's a very gay neighborhood. It's its
Right.
own community,
Right.
and there are gay focus recovery meetings. There are gay focus stores.
But does that necessarily
there's,
qualify as its own? Because
They vote, and they're very vocal, and they're very organized.
right, but every city has its
And-
neighborhoods, its communities, its
and
Chinatown,
that's
its
why
gay
New
park.
York works, though.
You see,
Right.
Because we are
I'm
so
not
many
talking.
different New
I'm not
Yorks.
talking about do we have different neighborhoods? I'm
Yes,
talking
of
about do
course.
we have different worlds?
But they're
Yes, we do,
political,
actually,
and they're
and-
very political.
we do have different worlds. Frank, one of the biggest problems that I see in New York and in my neighborhood and a lot of neighborhoods is that people create different pockets.
That's what I was trying to say.
And they
Thank
do,
you,
they do
George.
create different pockets, and then they don't want to, like, how can I say
Don't
this?
come into my pocket.
Yeah, don't come into my pocket, and don't, like, I want to, look,
I don't want you in my
the
pocket.
truth about me is that I can talk a lot of shit, and I love doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's
my
all right.
political views are very conservative liberal. I'm a
Right.
liberal conservative. I'm a very conservative liberal.
Compassionate conservative.
Of course, whatever you want to call it.
Wow.
It used to be
But-
called a moderate Republican. You're conservative on financial issues, but
Yeah, I don't want to
but
tell
liberal
people how to
on-
live. I don't
on,
want to tell. Listen,
personal
I
issues,
want to
yeah.
be able to, like, let's say, combat an enemy. That's fine with me.
Right.
Okay.
I want to be able to also have that people that never leave them. You understand?
Right.
Like, it hurt me. Like, let's say when we went to the Middle East somewhere,
Uh-huh.
and then we left those people
Right.
in open arms. That hurt me, man.
Right.
That hurt me because as an American,
Right.
we don't leave people behind.
So
Right.
it sounds
like as a Marine. Were you a Marine? Were
Well,
you in
my
the service?
families are.
Okay, that's
so it
very
sounds
military.
like you're pretty much of the. I mean, I understand what Stacey was saying about the neighborhoods. I'm even thinking worlds, not neighborhoods. Sounds like you're saying that, or what I'm saying anyway. I don't know if you agree with it. Is there's
Oh shit.
It's all right. It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
there's definitely always been and always will be, especially in New York, sort of the quintessential haves and have-nots.
course, yeah.
It almost defines the city. You know, the housing project in the
It's more than
shadows of
that.
Central Park East. But I don't think that politically there's that many different worlds here.
I disagree.
I think there's plenty. You just have to go to look. Like, let me finish my.
Well,
statement.
name which one.
Let
Name
me-
a few.
Okay.
Black Lives Matter.
Right? Which is all part of
ACT
Move
UP
On.
or the gay health crisis and all of the very activated and very politically organized and well
But
funded.
they're all under the
gay
same
issues.
tent. They're all under the same tent. They're all
The
under
gays are under the same tent as Black Lives Matter.
Yes, everybody's all under
They all
a
wanna-
liberal progressive tent.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean are there
I don't think there's two different political worlds like there used to be.
The police-
Rockefeller
the
Yeah.
police
and the
benevolent
Tammany
association?
Hall.
Well, one more
people and
thing.
stuff.
One more thing about
Yeah, there
all
are.
this.
There are.
PBA?
Yeah, there's a
The
couple.
PBA. Well,
The
one more
PBA.
thing about this.
Lynch?
See, the other thing is that
What's his name? Pat Lynch?
no one, as I see it, like in my neighborhood, all right, and I'm talking about the way we view people in our neighborhood, the people who've been there a long time.
Right.
The new people, be white, be black, be Spanish, have a lot of money. Number one, they do. Then they walk in a neighborhood, they don't even say hello to people. That's another thing.
Right.
Right.
They shop at supermarkets. They're bringing in supermarkets where everything is.
And they're
with
pushing
a-
out the
yeah,
bodegas,
the bodegas
to
and
get the
all.
poor people out. They did that
Exactly.
in New Brunswick when I was in school.
But what I'm trying to say is this.
They
right?
close down the local markets, and then you have to leave because you can't walk to get your groceries.
But that's
how they slowly, systematically
that's
get rid
money,
of you.
and that's politics too. Because guess what?
Yep.
They run the politics.
Exactly.
As long as they have the cash, these politicians will kiss their ass.
Hell, what Robert Moses did to this city when he
Exactly.
decided to start building, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, entire swaths of tenements removed to put in a highway.
But one more
Exactly.
thing I want to say about this. Are they doing the ice? They're doing the ice. Sorry
I
about
thought
that.
it was a drum roll.
I hear like a ringing.
I thought it was a drum
No,
roll.
that's still back there. Don't.
What was the one thing you want to say?
Well,
Let's get a nice roll.
I want to continue to say about the societies that are the blocks of people. Okay, like in my neighborhood where I'm at,
Right.
if you're not from the block,
Right.
Right.
don't even step into our block.
No, I get that.
Right? No, but let me finish. We have on our block
Right.
blacks,
Right.
Spanish,
Right.
Okay.
Muslims,
Right.
Italians,
Right.
crazy Irish.
No, everything.
Across the
Oh,
street.
yeah.
We have Ecuadorians, we have Chileans, we have Brazilians, and we're always fighting about one thing.
What's
Who's
that?
making too much noise?
Right.
Okay, that's the only thing that we
Oh,
fight
that's
about.
so cute.
But do not
That's
park
your
your car.
neighborhood.
We still got. We're over by 2, but let's take 10 more minutes if you don't mind.
We're going to be able to be on the
Yeah.
wall for
Can-
10 more?
Can
Yeah.
I tell you how jealous I am that you have a neighborhood and a community?
Well,
I'm
we do-
disenfranchised.
I guess.
don't have one.
Well, wait a
But I
second,
wanted
guys.
to continue talking about this.
Wait,
Go ahead.
here's my point. It's just that there are all these very different, unique, wonderful groups that you're talking
Uh-huh.
about, but they all tend, I think, more often than not, to be part of the same coalition.
Oh no, you see that's
Of
where
liberals. See, I didn't
Or
understand at
progressives
first
or
what you were talking
Democrats
about.
or whatever.
I
Well,
thought you meant interest groups.
you see.
More often than not.
Well, in our
I
block,
think there are Republicans, but they're quiet. They're sneaky about it. They systematically shut things down, and they do it on the down low.
Oh.
And it's very planned, and it's in the back
Well,
rooms. And it's like
I'm a-
getting back to the Illuminati
I'm a
kind of
registered
stuff.
Republican, so I'm not gonna. I am. That's it. But it's my dad, me, and
My
everybody
dad,
else.
my
you know?
grandfather, my mother, everybody in my family are Republicans. That doesn't mean that you
Mm-hmm.
can't keep an open mind. It's not a bad word to say you're a Republican.
Oh,
It's
I
not
know
a
that.
slur.
Frank, what I wanted to talk about when it comes to like the neighborhood.
Right.
Wow.
Yo, guys, you're
That-
killing us.
That's what we get, which is why we should
Yeah.
wrap soon.
We'll wrap real quick.
We should wrap soon.
All right,
the guys in the neighborhood
All right, the guys
who are making margaritas right now.
Yep, exactly. One of the things about my neighborhood is that we welcome you
Right.
until you're not welcomed anymore.
Right.
And that's every place that I've lived at has been like that.
I think that's
in
everywhere.
Brooklyn, my parts of Brooklyn.
But it's coming full circle because you said, you know, why did it matter that it was a Hispanic cop? And I said, because, you know, I just assumed it would be a white cop until proven otherwise. So it's when I come into the community, maybe I don't speak to you because I'm nervous to speak to you because I know I'm a stranger, I'm infringing, I'm a usurper.
See, I think that most people that move into gentrified communities are the exact opposite, and they're like, "It's my neighborhood now, get out."
Oh no, they're
not.
worse than that. You
I'm
know
like,
what they
this
did
is the
to
only
these
place
kids?
I can afford to live.
You know what they did to a bunch of kids in front of my building? That my
Who's
next door
they?
neighbor, Polish, just came off the boat, bought a house, had money, blah blah blah. They called the cops saying that these kids, these 6 kids, 12, 13, 14, had guns on them, and they were outside my studio.
Okay.
Okay, let me tell you, when the cops came, I came out.
Okay.
They all know me. First, if you're going to shoot me, you better kill me. But then besides that, they all know me, and they're like, I came out like, what the hell are you guys doing? These kids are 14, 15. Put that fucking gun down. That's how I talk.
All right,
Okay?
guys, this is going to get crazy.
Yeah,
So
all
I
right.
think we're going to have to wrap soon. One look, real quick, if there's anybody saying hello or asking any questions or whatever.
Oh, Peaches Rodriguez. What's up, baby?
Hey,
Peaches.
Peaches.
Let me know when you wanted me to come watch the set for the thing, Peaches.
I love you,
She probably got
Peach.
that. If you didn't, let me know.
Oh my
I will
God, it's
come
like
and
old.
watch.
It's like old home week.
And okay,
love
so
it.
let's get ready to wrap.
Yeah.
After the blender goes off, everybody one closing thought, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay? As soon
And
as they're done with the
I'll cut
blender.
all this out. I'll cut
Okay.
that out.
Are they actually making drinks, or are you
Yeah,
just
they're making-
Yeah, they're
preparing
actually
shit?
making-
Yeah, no, they're drinking.
No, they're
All right.
serving people.
Okay, closing thoughts real quick before the blender starts. Ladies first.
Me personally, I want to treat people as the way I want to be treated. Golden rule.
Beautiful.
Don't judge a book by its cover. Just because I'm an asshole doesn't mean I'm really an asshole. I'm just playing one right now on the radio.
And I can vouch for
Okay.
that. And then my closing
charming.
thought, slightly different than the very thoughtful ones that you just had. I think what's going to get really interesting about this election as we get closer, I'm talking September, November, October into November, once it's official and they're actually running, it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays in Middle America and in the South, not on the coast, Middle
Yeah.
America and the South, an election basically between two New Yorkers.
Yeah.
It'll be very interesting to see if George is going to get all fired up about one loud-ass New Yorker running against another loud-ass New Yorker.
Yeah, that's
and they can't stand either one of them.
You know, I can't.
It's like the carpetbagger's ball up here.
Exactly.
Wow, Frank, that's very insightful.
And it'll be interesting to see if it affects turnout, how it affects grassroots stuff, and whether or not, after this is done, I take a baseball bat to every blender that I see between here and Astoria. Okay, guys, thank you very much. That's Nite Meds. We'll be back again. This is a guest show. We'll have Stacey again. We just wanted to try this. Thanks for helping make us better. Any comments, questions, put them in the dialogue box. This one wasn't for real, but it felt like it was. And pretty soon we will be running at full speed. I promise everybody. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Nice meeting you, George.
Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Hold on. Nice meeting you, too.
Nice meeting you, George.
We're going to go hug in a few minutes.
Wink, wink.
Bye-bye. Sorry about that.